Hey there, Face Off fans. We are talking about Face Off Battle Royale, Season 13, Episode 2, Moonlight Monsters. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
He did the mash.
What up, Face Off fans? Welcome to the Monster Mash. I'm your host, Alana Jordan, and today we are talking about Face Off Season 13, Episode 2, Moonlight Monsters. Ooh. But it's not just me here today. We are here with amazing host and creature, actress, behind-the-scenes movie monster performer extraordinaire, Sarah Louise is here.
Guys, I'm excited to be here, and let's talk about some monsters.
Let's talk about some monsters. This was a really cool episode because the premise of this one was that, as inspired by Little Monsters and Monsters, Inc., they arrive and they see McKenzie standing in this, what looks like a little girl's room.
Yeah, it was surprisingly pink for Face Off because they tend to stick to the creepy stuff.
That's why I love when Damien was like, what the F is this? He's like, this doesn't seem like Face Off. So then they're basically told they have to crawl underneath this bed and pull out different items, whether it is a coffee pot, a hairdryer, a gavel, a badge, dental models, or a firefighter hat, which will determine what occupation their whimsical monster under the bed is going to have. And then, of course, in typical Face-Off fashion, we gotta have a twist. Epic twist. They can't just be adorable. They have to have a gag worked into this to then turn them into a terrifying creature.
They all had to have some sort of practical gag, which is, as someone who's been in makeups like that, the concept of having to be like, all right, I'm this character, I'm this physicality, and then on top of that, oh, by the way, your face rips off every X amount of time, stuff like that is just like, ugh.
But it was a really cool idea. It was
so
just,
cool.
as like Mel was mentioning, it's a lot of work to do in 3 days to incorporate a gag. And a lot of these artists, I mean, this is an all-star season, but this is something difficult even to ask the absolute pros to do.
Yeah.
So, of course, we have these guys broken up into battle mode for Battle Royale. So battle number 1 was Jordan versus Matt. They each picked the dental models and had their own monster based on a dentist. Yeah. Jordan, this one was a really cool concept. He decided to do these giant teeth with these like floppy ears. As he said, his concept is that this guy, this monster, has kidnapped the dentist and taken his place. But the thing, if we see, this close-up here, his gag was this flopping tongue that he was deciding if he wanted to have a CO2 cartridge or just have the actor blow in it to make the tongue flop up and down. Unfortunately, the gag just didn't really work.
I think he said it didn't fit in the mouth that he had created. It was just too big, so he ended up just
flopping it to the side. So I think that's why this was an absolutely amazing look. It got the win in the battle, and it ended up being a top look. But as Neville said, that it just didn't satisfy the gag. So the actor, I think, did a great job kind of flopping the tongue around.
He was so funny. He just kept bouncing his head back and forth.
What do you do in a situation like that when the gag just doesn't work?
You do it's like any acting job. If dialogue is missed or something goes wrong, you just kind of keep moving through it. I can think of so many times props have gone awry on me. And I've had to just keep moving.
You just keep moving forward. Just keep brusha. Exactly. So Matt did not win this challenge, but I gotta say, he did an amazing job. His dentist.
He's creepy.
I loved this. I thought this was such a cool idea. His gag absolutely played, pulling off the thing and having the blood go everywhere out of the top.
He ended up looking like a giant gum, I think is what it was. The concept was like a gum, and then the top is the tooth being pulled off. So it was like
so having the tooth being pulled out of the gums. The only thing is, it looked less like gums to me and more like the actual, like the pink mold stuff that they make when
the dental molds that you get when you get braces. Yeah, it looked more like that.
I thought it was like that was the premise. I feel like that's probably the reason that this one didn't take it, was that the concept of pulling the tooth out and having the blood go everywhere just didn't play as much as
that blood
they
was
thought.
so
But
gross.
V loved the color choice. I thought it was really cool.
V's face for that one.
Oh my gosh.
If you look at her face in that, like, I want that to be a reaction image to anything amazing. She's just so excited.
But doing work like this is like pulling teeth.
Hey.
All right.
Hey.
So Jordan pulled out a top look. And a tooth.
Yep.
Now the second battle, Kevin ended up taking this one. Kevin versus Kelly. And I was really surprised that Kevin took this one because this was an awesome idea, first of all. Picking the waitress I thought was a great idea.
This was so cute.
Kevin ended up kind of left with the coffee pot at the end because they all got to choose what they wanted. But he ended up getting like last pick, and it ended up working out for him because this diner waitress, he created this 4-armed waitress with this squid face on the back of her head.
Yeah.
And
it was creepy.
It was so cool, and he was so short on time. He was freaking out at the end of day 2, thinking day 3, I have to still finish this and apply and paint and do all of this stuff. So
I think he ended up applying in the last hour. Like, he was still applying at the very end.
Final applications. And on top of that, Kelly won last week, so she had help from Jamie Kellman.
Yes.
So
I love his work.
So, I mean, absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't believe that Kevin was able to pull this one out, but he did an absolutely phenomenal job. It completely played. It looked fantastic.
His reminded me of something from, it was very Halloween Town.
Yeah.
And I know the Monsters Inc. was the inspiration, but
it was very Halloween Town.
It felt like something that like Marnie and her grandma would run into in Halloween Town, and I really liked that.
I love
it was
that.
whimsical enough for that.
Oh, that's a perfect analogy. I love that. Now, Kelly, even though she had Jamie Kellman helping her out, she didn't win this one. She felt like the paint on the face just wasn't her best work, in her words. But I still thought it looked great. I think it looks brilliant. I love having the prop thrown in there, too. I think hers, I thought, worked really well. Yeah, having the beard pulled down and then pulling down her beard and having the scary face behind it. I thought that it worked really well. I thought this is definitely a makeup she should be proud of.
Yeah, even if it didn't win.
Even if it didn't win the battle, she's still here. So
Still made it.
Didn't win the battle, but you're still in the war.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, battle number 3 yielded some not so great results. This one was Joe versus Derek. They had the firefighter. Joe, unfortunately, struggled with this one a little bit more than anticipated. She had a great idea as having the firefighter kind of inspired by the fire truck and by the fire hydrant, having it be all metal.
Yeah, he was supposed to be all metallic, and it didn't quite read.
It didn't quite read, and I think it's because she ended up overpainting it.
Yeah.
And it took away all the shininess that she had created by adding the red over it. It just pulled all the metallic features out.
She might have tried to age it, I think, make it look a little more like he'd been in a couple firefights, and it just ended up being
it looked
way
less
too
like
dark.
rust. But it was cool how she originally
cool.
wanted to do this like pull method to have the jaw pull off, and then instead
it was all
went with the
teeth.
magnets, which I think it was her idea to go for the magnets. It really inspired everybody else to start using magnets, because then everybody hopped on board the magnet train.
Oh, yeah.
They were
Magnets
all attracted to that idea.
Hey.
No, it sucks because she said it just wasn't what she envisioned, and she felt that it didn't meet the challenge. And the judges were talking about how her Mr. Toad challenge last week just didn't really hold up to par. It was a little
She's been
rough.
having a rough couple weeks.
Yeah, so unfortunately, they said that her good idea, as Glenn says, her good idea just doesn't end up in the final product. So she was one of our contestants who was eliminated. We are so sad. We love you, Joe. You are amazing. We wish we still had you.
Well, I mean, I still think she has like an amazing future ahead of her as a makeup artist, and being on Face Off is a nice little bit of.
And being
extra
able
publicity.
to be in the first season and the last season of Face Off, that's a pretty cool accomplishment in its own.
She's doing fairly well for herself.
You go, Joe!
You go, Joe.
Now, Derek ended up pulling out the win for this one. He wanted to make this blue, grumpy kind of guy. He used magnets, too, to make this chin rip open.
Oh,
this was genius. Having this rip open, having all the gore and teeth and fangs. I loved it. I actually felt like that would have been a really cool challenge if he had done that for the dentist, having all the teeth. I thought that would have been a cool
That would
element.
have been interesting. This guy there's a lot of slime this
is very slimy. There's a lot of like things like being pulled off and just slime
very
trails.
gooey.
Very gooey. I liked it though.
I'm into it.
No, Damien and Graham were up against each other, and they intentionally chose the gavel together because they wanted to be against each other.
A little friendly competition.
Friendly competition.
We all
I
do
love
it.
that when these guys are friends with each other and they're like, you know
yeah.
what? Whoever wins or loses this one, we're both still gonna be here.
We're
We got
still
this.
cool.
We got this on lock. Damien took this win, and I am not surprised because this was so cool. This slime technique that he had looked absolutely amazing. Having just the whole face being ripped off. I gotta say too, props for Damien for making a makeup on face off.
Yeah,
that is a face off. Genius, Damien.
Nailed it.
We dig ya.
Damien.
We dig ya.
We got this. We're
We're
on
on
that
the
level
same
with you.
page. But unfortunately, Graham suffered a not quite as good fate. He did not win this challenge, but he did a
No.
really cool concept. This one, surprisingly, though, we don't have a photo to
Yeah,
show
we
you
couldn't
guys.
find a single
because
photo.
Face Off, for some reason, Syfy didn't post his. But Graham did this amazing powdered wig made of brains, and he had this bladder to
Yeah.
make these bug eyes come out.
Oh, the eyes were, oh my god. I actually started like giggling when the eyes popped out. They were just
It was
so
cool.
goofy.
But I feel
so
like the
creepy.
reason he didn't win this one was because the actor had to kind of shake the eyes, and once the
Yeah.
initial gag was done,
they
having
were
that
just kind
shake, yeah. So literally, it just fell a little flat versus Damien's. But I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. I
feel
love
like-
Graham.
But I feel like going after that makeup would just be low-hanging fruit.
Ah!
Or low-hanging eyeballs.
We're having a ball on this show. And eyeballs.
Eyeballs.
Now, Yvonne and Sasha were pitted up against each other. They both picked the hairdresser for
Yes.
this one,
This
which
was
I thought
another-
was a really cool idea. I would love to go to the salon.
Honestly.
I want my hair done by these monsters. All I could think was Mike Wazowski's girlfriend, like with her
Yes,
like Medusa,
Celia.
like Celia.
It
I
was
was like,
very
this is where
Celia.
Celia would go. Now Yvonne decided to have this hair kind of pulled up and then pull the hair down, and it would
dreadlocks.
reveal another face.
Oh, it was a creepy
which
face.
was a super duper cool idea, and it absolutely played. It worked really, really well. She was also very excited that none of the dreads fell off, so that
Yes,
was good.
yeah.
It's always a risk when you have little moving parts like that, additional pieces.
Especially hair. Anything
Especially
with hair.
Ooh, like
I've
tube
had some hair
hair.
pieces fly off. I've had some wigs snatched.
Snatch the
on
wig,
occasion.
man. This was a good wig
loved
snatch
that.
situation. Yvonne
Oh,
just
yeah.
crushed it. Unfortunately, though, Sasha did not have a concept to begin with.
No.
Struggling to find that concept really put her over time on this one,
Yeah.
which...
This
You
one,
know, it was sad seeing her in almost near tears on day one when she's talking to Yvonne, and she's
Yeah.
like, I just have so many ideas, and I just feel like they're all so bad.
also, every time I look at this character, it looks like something different, because in the original viewing, it looks like a bug.
It looks like a bug, then it kind of looks like a plant and like a mandrake.
It kind of looks like a cat now.
I liked it though. I
like
mean,
it.
I think the only reason that this one was because, as she mentioned, her foam collapsed. She had some seaming
Yeah.
issues with it, and then when they pulled the mohawk back, it had been overpainted a little bit. So, in her
Yeah.
words, she said it just looked like a black hole. I thought it was a really cool concept. I love Tim Burton. She wanted to be inspired by
Yeah, she
Tim
wanted
Burton.
to go in a Tim Burton direction.
But I think V was right when she said you want to stay away from Tim Burton when you
Yeah.
want to do a whimsical monster thing. That's not the challenge.
Yeah, because his whimsy's not so whimsical.
Yeah, you don't
anymore.
think little monsters are like
Or Monsters, Inc. You wanna
when you
think
think Tim
Pixar.
Burton. Exactly. You want to go more Pixar, which I thought it was a cool concept. It just didn't really fit the
Yeah.
challenge. So unfortunately, Sasha was our other contestant who was
Yeah.
eliminated, which
Another
breaks
artist
my
who I
heart.
love.
I love Sasha.
I love
she's
her work.
she's one of my favorites too. Just
Yeah.
she's so fun. She's such a good person. So we love you, Sasha. We will miss
Yeah.
you. We're very sad that you had to be sent home. But
Sending love to Sasha.
But unfortunately, you know, having 3 bottom looks
Yeah.
and then 2 of them being sent home every other week, we
tough.
get our heart ripped out twice,
Yeah.
which is rough.
This next one was my favorite.
But the final battle yielded some
so
amazing results. This was Walter versus Mel. They both picked the police officer, and Walter was kind of worried he wasn't going to fit the challenge because he decided to go with a rabbit cop who was going to
Yeah.
pull his head off, pull off his ears, and have this scary head underneath
It
it.
was gross. He was so gross, and I loved it.
I loved it.
He
but
was a good combination of cute and creepy.
Exactly. It was perfect. Even before he pulled the head off, it had just that, as Neville said, just the little smirk already there on
and
the
the
face.
menacing like brow.
Yeah, it was just very, very well done. But as he said himself, he was a little uneasy about the concept, and he was just
yeah.
hoping to squeak by because a rabbit isn't really a monster, so doesn't fit the challenge. He had nothing to worry about because pulling that head off, just the goose strings coming off, just
juicy.
ugh.
It kind of reminded me of the not the cannibal bunny, the like hillbilly bunny from 2014. I believe who had like the plaid shirt and like the giant belly.
Bunnies
Kind
are
of
just
reminded me of
scary
that.
anyway. Like they're just
And it
creepy.
kinda
It's like a Frank the Bunny
Human
vibe.
bunny hybrids are just such a good
weird.
choice.
So weird. But V said the reveal was absolutely stunning, and
yeah.
Glenn said it was exactly what they were looking for, which is why Walter did not just squeak by.
He
took
won.
home a very important win.
Oh, yeah.
He won. Whoop, whoop.
Not a whatever.
Well, they're
a win.
win. You got the W, man, and that W stands for Win and Walter, because Walter is our winner. Which I love, too, because I feel like Walter didn't get enough love his season. I thought he was very, very good his season, and he was like...
I like the All-Stars returning because it gives them a second chance when they may or may not have gotten the opportunity the first time around. Plus, they've learned a lot, so...
It's cool. It's cool seeing this one. Now, Mel was a bottom look this week. Not only did she lose, she was a bottom look. I'm so glad that she was not eliminated, though, because even though she had been a bottom look the week prior, which Joe was not, her police officer, she wanted to be a mall security guard, and she wanted to be kind of a rhino cow, be inspired by this rhinoceros, and she did these like snap down flaps with magnets, but again, having the hot glue gun, as she mentioned, the metal piece will stick to the magnet. Yeah. So she had to pipe it onto a separate thing, kind of go roundabout. But I mean, it was amazing.
It was labor intense. Which
it's labor intense, but you know, you're finding solutions to problems in creative ways.
It held her back a little bit time-wise because she ended up spending so much time on it, but...
That's what I think, because as she said, the gag worked out better than she had anticipated, and I agree, too. Having the face pull off and having all of those eyeballs underneath it and reveal the color change from the gray to the red, I thought looked great. V, however, disagreed because she didn't like the gray paint, and she felt it didn't look like a rhinoceros at all. Yeah. I got exactly what Mel was going for. I thought it looked
Triceratops.
It looks a little Triceratops.
I got dinosaur. And then the eyes, I liked the idea, but it didn't completely make sense for the character. Like, it was just, like, scary for scary's sake. It wasn't...
Yeah. Like V said that it was the same guy with just a bunch of eyeballs.
Yeah, it wasn't, like, logistically thought out.
But the thing is, I feel like, honestly, I mean, Mel, I don't think she would have gotten the win just because Walter was going to take the win. Yeah. And she was against him. But I think, you know, I'm glad that Neville pointed out that there is a lot more from her that we want to see. Yeah, and I agree. God. But I feel like they hated on this one a little bit too much. I think if she'd had a little bit more time to paint it and get some highlights so that it wasn't so monochromatic, I think that would have helped a lot. But I absolutely loved this look. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal.
It was like Paul Blart Mall Rhino kind of thing.
I like that. Mall cow rhino.
Mall cow. I like Mall cow.
Mall cow.
Mall cow's fun.
I like it. But I thought all of the artists did a phenomenal job. We are definitely going to be very sad to say goodbye to Joe and to Sasha. Yeah. But they both did an absolutely phenomenal job. I can't wait until next week,
I'm so ready for next week.
Aztec aliens. Ooh. I love all of these different concepts that they're doing for the 13th season.
Yeah, this last season is a doozy.
So good.
Interesting concepts.
Good. And I'm excited too because we're going to keep having different artists from Face Off on the show, keep having more of our models and different creature performers and everybody hop on here too. So
this was fun.
Speaking of which, Sarah, thank you so much for being here. This was such a delight having you. Where can everybody keep up with you and all of your amazing looks?
Oh, if you want to follow my strange adventures, I am at official Sarah Louise on Instagram and Twitter, and I had so much fun. Thank you, Elena, for having me. Thank you guys for tuning in. So much fun.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan and on Instagram at that Alana Jordan girl. And you can find us all here at AfterBuzz TV. Be sure to like and subscribe. Give us that thumbs up, comment. We want all of your feedback. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, all over the place. So if you're listening to us on one, watch us on the other. Definitely watch us on YouTube because we had some photos and things as well. But either way, we're just excited to have you guys here, and we're excited to see you next week, too. So we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye, guys.
You're tuning. From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.